This here is the Capcom Balancing Committee. Step forward, show me what you got for me, and I will tell you how good you're gonna be. You got me chocolate? Okay, that's very good. Top 5. What's this? Habibi! You got me in bed. He got me fried chicken. They don't even make it in Egypt. Okay, you are my Habibi. Top 2. What's this? What is this? You got me yellow apples? You think I'm a rabbit or something? As long as I'm in charge of this committee, you're never leaving the bottom tier. Bottom 1. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Go.
So yeah, character tiers and their strengths, this is a very touchy subject that a lot of people get unreasonably defensive about, but this is not what we're talking about. Today we're talking about which characters should be strong, and obviously strengths and tiers and all of that, it's kind of relative as well, because the strengths on the lower level gameplay is totally different than high level. A character like Zangief or Honda is super dominant at the lower levels of play, but in the top, at least for Honda, is not that great. Now, when discussing how strong a character should be, I do think they probably have a number of factors in mind, right? The first one which you have to think about is the popularity. How popular is that character? Because you wanna appease to the masses both way. A character that is immensely popular have to be good enough so that the players who are using them are having good experience, but you probably don't want them to be so oppressive that players who don't play that character is fighting against them every game and they are losing their minds. For example, let's say that let's call you Joe, right? You as a viewer, you're Joe, right? You've never played Street Fighter before. You've seen a ton of fan art for this Chun-Li chick. Chun-Li, she's pretty thick. I'm gonna try out this game. I hear something good about it. I'm getting way sidetracked here. So you pick up Street Fighter 6 and you try to play Chun-Li. If Chun-Li is total trash and the character is absolutely unviable, worst character in the game, you're probably not gonna have the best experience. And Street Fighter 6, they're really trying to appease to the general masses. So that is why Shotos are super good in Street Fighter 6. And even though there was a lot of characters that needed buffs in Season 1, a lot of the lower tiers, who did Capcom focus on the most? It's Ryu. The poster boy, the character that everyone's trying to play. They knew Ken was gonna be immensely popular, so they had to make him good. Luke as well, Akuma, all of the Shotos, Capcom are trying to make them very good. And also, you can boost the popularity of the character by making them powerful. When Street Fighter 6 first came out, a character like Manon, right? She had a top 5 pick rate. She was one of the most picked characters early on in the game, until everyone realized that she's not very good, and then her pick rate went down significantly. Capcom or developers in general want to highlight specific characters. They want this character to be played. They want them to show up in tournaments. They want them to show up on streams. So they make the character good. Case in point, for example, in Bison and Akuma, Capcom intentionally made sure that these characters are good enough. They are making sure that Aki is good. They are making sure that Rashid is good, so that players will pick them up. They will show up in tournament. It's free advertisement pretty much. And even if you remember during Street Fighter 5, when they put out Luke was extremely overtuned because Capcom wanted Luke to see play. They wanted people to get accustomed to Luke so that when he's in Street Fighter 6, well, he already got some fan base that will flock to the character with the new game. Another point that is really important when it comes to which characters should be good, at least I think it is from the point of view of the developers, is which characters do present a good viewing experience. Which ones are the most fun to watch? Who's hype pretty much. Now, if we're talking about the different archetypes and broad terms, we got the standard characters, the Ryu, the Ken, the Shotos, Chun-Li, to an extent Juri, the jack of all trades, right? And these guys, they are popular. People are gonna enjoy watching Ryu regardless of what he's doing, regardless of what game he's in, right? What other thing do people like to see? They like to see rush down. They like to see amazing combos. And typically rush down characters got some of the most fun combos, and they got good visual representation. They keep the game fast paced. I mean, just check out this Kimberly clip and tell me you were not entertained. While on the other hand, if we got a character like Zoner, for example, and Grapplers, because these two characters, archetypes, despite being totally different, one thing about both of them is that they tend to really slow down the game. Actually, if you're playing Street Fighter 6 right now, who slows down the game more than Zangief? Right, typically people are scared of Give. You're typically scared of Manon. You don't want to go in, you want to play carefully, and that's a lot of neutrals, that's a lot of waiting, so a lot of people don't like watching them Resident Sleeper and all of that, and I do think the developers keep that in mind. Now, they don't want them to have strong vortex loops and all of that either, because players complain about it. So grapplers are kinda stuck between having to really play neutral, which is not very spectator friendly, and they can't have like good drive rush and all of that because of their archetype, and also they can't really have a strong vortex, and maybe that doesn't help their case, especially with Street Fighter 6. Maybe that's why Capcom is too careful trying to buff these guys. I don't know. Maybe. But also, when you consider it that way, we got to talk about zoners, because I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of the viewing audience would not like a bullet hell simulator. They don't want a zoner that is constantly filling the screen with projectiles to be super good, because that is actually somewhat lame to watch, right? At least if you're not super invested and understanding of like the spacing trap and the fireball traps and empty jumps and all of the specific tech that is going on, it can get lame watching it, which is probably again why Capcom is careful with zoners. Who got nerfed the most? It's probably JP, right? And they even tackled his defensive options specifically because they wanted to make sure that when you're in, you can steamroll him pretty much, which I still think JP is mad good, but yeah, he's the character that probably got nerfed the most coming from Season 1 to Season 2. One final factor that I think probably comes into play is the character main roster or is the character DLC? Because let's be honest, let's be real, we all want the game to be as balanced as possible. We all get that, right? But probably no one likes spending their money on trash bottom tier characters, right? So I think if you're $7.99, maybe it's like $8 right now or whatever, if you're bait, you probably got to be at least comparatively decent. I think so, right? Capcom will try their hardest to make these characters viewable. They want to get them on streams, and players, they want people who purchase these characters to be happy. I think that just makes sense. So will Capcom ever buff my Manon? Will Capcom ever make her like a solid mid tier at least? I don't know. I really don't know, but that is my thoughts at least on the matter. What are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Is there any specific characters that you view as toxic if they're strong? Do you think some characters like Grapplers or Zoners should never be good? I personally don't like this sentiment because I want everyone to have fun, but there are some realities, unfortunately. I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. We'll be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.